Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of Hell's Ultimate Guide to Vault Hunters. Now I'm going to assume that you've already seen part 1 for this part of the guide. It's got all of the basic bits that you're going to need to get started and a few of the basic concepts. If you've not seen it and you are brand new to Vault Hunters, I will leave a link to it in the top right of your screen now. The rest of this guide is going to assume that you already know the things in there, because we're going to be going over some more advanced concepts that are going to require you to have at least a basic understanding of the mechanics of Vault Hunters to be able to go ahead. We're going to be looking at the different types of vaults, different loot, and the god altars. So we're going to dive right into that, and before we get started I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who gave support on that first part of the guide. It has been amazing. Yeah, it's my first guide on Minecraft, so thank you all very much for the support. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the vault, and I think the best place to start are the new types of vaults that you're going to unlock at level 25. The first type of vault is the same as pre-level 25. It's just go in, find the obelisks, activate them all. Once you've activated the last obelisk, you summon the boss, kill the boss, and you get the lovely boss crate. That's honestly as easy as it gets. Not really much more to that type of vault. Where things start to get really interesting is in the Scavenger Vaults. Scavenger Vaults work completely differently to the first type of vault we looked at. In a Scavenger Vault, you get a chest like this. This is a scavenger chest, and this is where you need to put all of the items that are shown at the top of the screen. Now, all of these items have different ways of getting them. For example, the blood vial, it says kill mobs. It doesn't tell you which mob, but you can pretty much guess that one's going to be zombies. Now, the skeleton skull comes from skeletons. It's normally pretty self-explanatory. It's fairly easy to grasp once you've done a couple of them. The other two sources that you can get items from are these gold piles. You can break them and then get, in this case, the pink bangles, or the other is just from looting chests where you can get these lovely pottery shards. Once you've got all of the items that you need, you can just drop them into the scavenger chest, and that is the vault completed. Now, this isn't too much of an issue between levels 25 and 50, because if you can't find all the items, you can just leave. However, after level 50, there is a chance that your scavenger vault can be locked, and if you can't find all the items and your vault is locked, you're going to die if the time runs out. So you need to be basically prioritizing these items if you're in a locked scavenger vault before anything else. That being said, you do get one of these amazing scavenger crates, and honestly, they look just beyond cool. They're really great. I love using them for decoration, but they can be full of some amazing stuff. We'll go over loot in a little while, but honestly, they are definitely worth getting, and we can just stick it on our podium here. Now, these next two crystals, you're actually going to have to craft yourself and make some modifications to the existing crystal you've got. The first one is a raffle crystal. Now, you're going to need one of these Seal of the Challengers from one of the Vault Warriors, and that will make you a raffle crystal. So when you stick this in the vault and you jump through it, you are going to be in a raffle vault. Now, really importantly, a raffle vault is always a locked vault. You cannot leave without killing the boss. Other than that, though, it is pretty much exactly the same as the first vault that we looked at. You just have to find the obelisks and kill the boss. There is, however, one slight twist, and that this is a speed run. If you're on a single player server, doesn't really matter too much, but if you are on a full multiplayer server, you are competing to get the fastest boss time that you possibly can. And at the end of the week, whoever's got the fastest boss time is going to be able to get a special prize. The timer in the bottom left will stay yellow until it hits 20 minutes. That is because you have 5 minutes to kill the boss to be entered for the additional prize. So get those obelisks done as quickly as you can, kill that boss as fast as possible, and then you'll be entered. If someone comes along and beats your time, you're going to need to do another raffle vault to be entered into the competition again. The great thing, though, is that you can spy on your friends and see who is winning the raffle, and just make sure that on Monday morning you are the person who has the fastest time. So as normal, summon the boss, kill the boss, get your boss crate, and then this time just hope that you're the fastest so you can get one of these lovely white shulker boxes that contain a bunch of lovely loot. Now this next vault is my favourite type of vault, and what we need is a cake. So take the cake over to the anvil and combine it with your vault crystal. It's time for a cake hunt. Now in case the name didn't give it away, in cake hunt vaults, you have to find the cake. Now you will only have one room that you can explore when you first start out in this vault. Once you find the cake, a new room will be added and another random modifier will be added onto your vault. These can stack up very quickly and can either be amazing or really bad. Your job is to find the cakes, and you do get little prompts telling you how far away you are from the cake, so just make sure that you use your time wisely. If you do somehow manage to find all of the cakes, then you get awarded with this lovely cake crate. So that's all of the actual vault crystal types that you can make. However, there is one type that you can't make, and you instead find it as loot once you hit level 75, and that is a treasure trove crystal. Now treasure troves are insane. They're special crystals that open a one-room vault full of loot, and this is what it looks like without all of the sand. It is just insane. There are so many gilded chests here, there's so many vault ores. If you find one of these, you are incredibly lucky, and honestly, it's just going to set you up for quite a while. It is amazing to get. But that leads us perfectly into our next section, Vault Loot. Just a quick disclaimer on this is not an exhaustive list. There are plenty of other items that you can get, including things like carrots and potatoes and things like that, but these are the ones that I think it's important for you to know if you're going to be looting a lot of vaults. Let's have a look in this first chest. Now this is all of the basic loot that you're going to get. So we spoke about in part 1 the vault burgers. They're just common pieces that you're going to get past level 25. You've got all of your hearty apples, jade apples, golden apples and cobalt apples. Now you're going to start seeing a lot more candy bars and power bars as you level up. They are really useful, and pretty much candy bars you should be running on every single vault. It should be on your hotbar. They are really good, especially if you're running out of time. Things like wither skeleton skulls are good to save because they can be used to convert these mystery eggs into hostile eggs, which basically you take 8 of these mystery eggs, 1 wither skeleton skull, and then you basically combine them together in just the standard pattern like that, and that will give you a hostile egg, which you can then use to spawn things like guardians and skeletons and all of that sort of good stuff. So they're really good to keep hold of. Shulker shells, enchanted books, iron, gold, diamonds, netherite, they all really speak for themselves. They're pretty standard items. Now, some things that you want to be on the lookout for. Vault dust, because vault dust is going to enable you to make vault nuggets, and vault nuggets are used to make vault ingots, and vault ingots are useful in a lot of crafting recipes later on, especially things like storage systems, electronics, all of that good stuff. Now, catalyst we'll get onto a little bit later on when we start talking about modifiers, but the catalyst fragments, you want to be picking these up as well. You're going to need 5 of these for each catalyst, and they are good for especially later game. I wouldn't recommend wasting your Beniatite and Larimar on catalysts anytime soon. Honestly, until you hit level 50, you can get on without them, no problems at all. They are kind of useful if you're hunting for specific items, but in general, they're not really worth it. You're not going to have enough to be able to just waste them when you could be making knowledge stars. So, magnetites are useful later on once you get magnets, because these will recharge your magnets, and they're used to craft magnets in the first place. Really good. You need to be keeping hold of those, even if you're not using them. Hunter's Eye, that's just a crafting ingredient. You'll use it in a couple of crafting recipes later on. Mystery boxes, fairly straightforward. You grab a mystery box, throw it, and it gives you a random item. We've also got relic booster packs. They do have a chance to give you a relic. There we go. So that's the first one, and if we pick it up, that's the air element, which is part of the elements set. Now, once you get all 5 relics in the set, you'll be able to make a statue, which basically gives you an extra 30 seconds in the vault. It is really good. they are quite rare and you can get duplicates, so just keep an eye out for them and make sure you're opening your relic booster packs. Now, these gems here, really, really, really important that you collect every gem, every rock containing the gems that you possibly can for every single one of these. So inside the God Altars, you can also get choice flasks, which we went over in part 1, as well as a Flasks of Regret. Just make sure you're looting them. These 9 here are your unique vault gems. They are really important. Again, I'd put them on the same tier as Echo Gems. Make sure you're going out of your way to get these. They are incredible and they are very rare. And the reason that you want them is they make an item called a Pog. Now, Pogs are very rare. Basically, they're very powerful. They're used in things like storage systems. They're used in danks. Pretty much you need one for each one here. Yeah, you want to be getting these as much as you possibly can. The bottom row are just things that you really, really need to be on the lookout for as well. They're less rare than these, but they are worth picking up. Vault Diamonds, because they're used to make Vault Blocks, which are used to make Knowledge Stars, same as the Star Essence. You also want to be getting the Vault Essence, because you'll turn that into Red Vault Essence, which you'll use to make Vault Armour. The Trader Cores and the Gifter Statues, and the Super Gifter Statues. Now these pretty much go hand in hand. Let's set these up, and put the Gifter Statues on top of the chest, and put the Trader Core inside the vending machine. If we have a look at the Gifter statue that we got, iGoody is going to give us Space X10, and the Gifter statue from Tubbo is going to give us Metamorphic Mesa Stone. So eventually they will die and they won't be able to produce any more goods. But don't worry, because they're not wasted. What you can make is a statue cauldron. They require 7 netherite and a normal cauldron. Well, what are they used for? Well, it's pretty simple. When you get your Gifter statue, you can throw it in the cauldron, and then it is going to slowly fill up this bar on the right hand side. So when we place the final Gifter statue in, it'll pop out an Omega statue. The Omega statue can be placed down, and you then get a choice of which item to generate. You can get some really good stuff like white wool, dirt, bricks, always super useful. You can get more decorative ones like the clinker brick blocks, and basically it's your choice what you decide to go with. Now when you place this on a chest, it is going to produce that item forever. So if we have a look, it's still not managed to produce one yet. They are extremely slow, but they will passively produce your resources forever. You don't need to worry about it. And what you can also do that is quite helpful is you can go into your, let's go in survival for this. You can go into your crafting grid and just replace this with a smaller version, and when you put that on, it's going to show you exactly what it's producing as well, and it's a little bit more manageable, and then it'll all go in that chest, and then you'll be good to go. So you've got basically a permanent source over there of all of those bricks. Now that is Gifter statues pretty much sorted. You put them on a chest, they drain of the resources. Once they're done, you throw them in the statue cauldron. It makes one of the Omega statues. They slowly produce resources and then they're used up. And that's basically it. Now, the Trader Cores. Trader Cores are slightly different because what they do is they will basically take the Vault Bronze and trade you different items for them. So if we pull a couple of Trader Cores out, so as you can see, they do trades for the Vault Bronze and the Vault Gold, and you basically just trade them as you would a villager. They do all have limited trades, so once you've done them a couple of times, they'll basically get entirely used up. There we go. So that is then used up, and if you shift right click, it will pop them all out. The same as the Gifter statues, there is a secondary use as well, and what you need is a cryo chamber. Now the cryo chamber is really expensive to make. If we have a look at the recipe for it, you need a Pog, and this is probably where your first Pog is going to go if you don't put it into a dank. They are really useful. Why are they useful? Because you can start filling them up with all of the Trader Cores that you've got. And once you have put enough in, you will get an Eternal. Now, Eternals are amazing because they will come and fight in the vault with you. And to make it even better, we can equip this onto our Eternal and stick the sword in there. So then they will be in full netherite and go attack. All of the enchantments do work. There is no durability damage on your Eternals. So you can put an item with 1 durability on your Eternal, it will never break. So you will be good to go there. You do also get a choice of modifiers. So we'll just stick the luck one on. And then they will come and join you in the vault. However, before you can summon them, you need to unlock the skill Summon Eternal. I did tell you we'd get back to it. So we can unlock Summon Eternal. There you go. Nice and easy. And what that means is when we go inside a vault, we can summon the Eternal and it will come and fight with us. That is basically a quick rundown of what Eternals do and why Trader Cores are so important. So the next thing we need to look at is the additional kind of post-25 loot that is really important. And these are your idols, your vault armor, and your vault weapons. Each one of these is in an unidentified state. So what you need to do is identify it. So you put it in your inventory, you right click, and it will roll randomly for you. And eventually it'll come out telling you a rarity and a type. Now there's 5 rarities that you need to look out for. So Scrappy is the worst, then it goes common, rare, epic, and Omega is the most rare. As a general rule of thumb, the more rare the item, the better it is. But also the higher level it requires to wear them. So this Omega helmet is level 59. Now, what you can do is apply Wutak shards. And Wutak shards are going to allow you to reduce the level requirement for any armor you've got. So if we look at this Omega helmet, it was 59. We can add the Wutak shards. That will bring 10 Wutak shards or bring it down to 49. So you can do that all the way down to level 20. A couple of things that complement the armor system is the vault plating, the vault scrap, and the repair core. Now, why would you need a repair core? Because you cannot put mending on vault armor. You need to remember that. You need to be really careful about your durability. Even though you've got repair cores, there are a limited number of times that you can repair an item. So the Omega one can only be repaired 4 times before it will break. The other part of the vault armor are the levels. So as you can see on the Omega one, there is a plus 2% parry, which basically means there's a 2% chance that enemies won't hit you. It's also got 5 levels. If you kill a boss while wearing an item or holding a totem that needs a level, then you will get an additional benefit onto it. So you could potentially get an extra armor, or you could get higher parry, or you could get more durability. You get those by wearing these items and killing a boss, and then it will fill one of the levels. Once you've filled all the levels, you won't be able to improve it any further through killing bosses, but you can stack some really good modifiers on here, and the Omega ones tend to have more levels than the rest. The scrappy ones tend to either not have any or have sort of a maximum of 2 or 3. The vault scrap is what happens if you use a blast furnace to melt down any of these items that you don't want. So let's say you have these 5 items, you want to keep the Omega, you don't care about the others, then you can smelt all of these down into a blast furnace and you will get vault scrap. Vault scrap can then be used as long as you have the vault blacksmith research unlocked. It can then be used to make your own armor. And that's what I was saying earlier, you need that red vault dust to be able to do that for one of the 2 crafting recipes that you'd use to make it. So, pretty straightforward. You have your different tiers of armor, you can repair them a certain amount of times, they can level up by killing bosses. Same with the Vault Idols, although the Vault Idols cannot be repaired, and they basically act as totems of undying. Pretty much what you'd expect. That's all you're going to have to deal with at level 25. There are a couple of things at level 50 and level 75 where they turn a little bit better. So, Firstly, I needed to highlight this. Once you hit level 50, you will get these runes a lot. All they do is they change the colour that your enchantment glows. So normally it has to be purple. You can change it so it's a rainbow colour or bright red. I would recommend setting up a dank or a shulker to make sure that you've covered all the colours, and then you can just dump them in there because they will clog your inventory very quickly. You get a lot of them once you hit level 50. You'll also get Vault Apples, which again, it's one of these mod packs. If you have got vault power-ups, you can start making your own vault apples. You also get skill essence, which can be used to make skill orbs, which give you skill points. We covered that lightly in part 1. And you've also got crystalline burgers, which you can feed to your Eternals. And if we go over to Mucky here and give them the vault burger, you can see that they leveled up, and you can level up their health or anything like that. They are capped by the amount of Eternals you've got. You can have 50 Eternals, and then they are capped at level 50, but they are quite expensive to get, so just keep that in mind. The only other real things are the Pandora's boxes, which you get a free one if you sacrifice one of the trader cores that has not been sold out. And these are basically better versions of the mystery boxes. As you can see, you can get a lot of really good stuff. You can get vault apples, you can get crystals, you can get all sorts of really, really great stuff here. The Pandora's boxes are brilliant. Make sure you pick them up. You've also got the Paxel charm. Now that will basically have a decent chance of making your Paxel better. It does also have the chance of making your Paxel worse, so it's a little bit of gambling on trying to make the Paxel better. And you have a Banished Soul. They add 3,000 durability to a Vault Idol, which is huge. They normally don't have even close to that. However, 1 in 3 chance to completely break the idol when applying it. So again, it's a bit of a risk. The only thing at level 75 really are the Vault Runes. They basically combine them with a Vault Crystal, and it will add a specific room onto that Vault Crystal. It then guarantees that that room's going to show up. This one does a Crystal Cave, and yeah, it's pretty good. But that is basically it for the loot side of things. That's all your common loot. That's the stuff that you need to be aware so that you're picking it up and making sure that you are good to go. So what we're going to jump into now are the gods, god Favour, the modifiers that the gods can apply, and the different altars that you can get and how to complete them. You'll already know some of this if you've ran some vaults yourself, but the actual god effects come into play from level 50 onwards, and you need to be preparing for them because they will change the way that you run vaults massively depending on how you prepare for it. So these are god altars, and you'll find them scattered around the vault. You'll just come across them every now and again. This one specifically is an Idonna one. You can tell by the red flames. Now, what this one will require is for you to kill mobs. As you can see, Tubbo's got red flames around them. That means they've been picked up by the altar. So give them a smack, and they will be sacrificed to Idonna. If we kill a bunch more of these mobs with the flames around them, then it will complete the altar. We can right click it, and then we get a bunch of loot. Now there's 4 different gods within the vaults that you need to be aware of, and each of their altars you need to do something different. So Wendar, who is yellow, will require you to sacrifice some vault time. Valera, who is green, will require sacrifices of the hearts that you've got. You can restore them again with health potions and just general healing. You don't need to worry about it, but just make sure you don't run out of hearts because this can and will kill you. And the final god is Tenos, who basically requires a sacrifice of experience levels. So not vault levels, specifically experience levels. And that is always equal to twice what your vault level is. So if you're level 26 like me, it will require 52 levels. Now god Favour can be a little bit confusing, but basically when you complete an altar, there is a chance that you will receive a favour from the god whose altar you've completed. So if you complete a Tenos altar, you may gain +1 favour with Tenos. However, it's always a balancing act. So you will also lose a favour with another god. Now this has 0 effect on you until you hit level 50, at which point gods start to influence the vaults themselves. Once you get +4 favour with a specific god, you will start getting the positive effects from that god. But if you get -4 favour with a god, you'll start getting the negative effects. It's really well represented in this diagram from the Vault Hunters website, and basically have a look here. It's got the positives that you'll get, it's got the negatives that you'll get. As I said, it only kicks in at level 50 and once you get either +4 or -4. One thing to note, you are more likely to gain favour with a god if you are holding the totem that matches their altar when you do it. So if you hold a Valera totem and you do a Valera altar, you are more likely to get that favour from Valera. Holding a totem of a different god doesn't seem to really affect anything. But that is where we're going to leave it for today. I've covered all the basics in part 1, we've covered some more advanced topics in part 2. If you do want a part 3, let me know down below and I can go through the sort of nuances in each room, as well as things like the treasure rooms in key crafting. But to be honest, the best way to learn those is just by doing it yourself. Look up the recipes, go watch some Let's Plays. Iskal's doing a playthrough, I've got my playthrough linked above, and there's a couple of other content creators that I absolutely love watching. I will link them down below. If you did find the guide useful, make sure to give it a like. If you want to hear more from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching everyone. I've been Hellfire Mage, and I will see you next time.